Namaste everyone and welcome to The Way Om. My name is Sarah Baca and I just wanted to put together a brief introductory video just sharing a little bit about myself and my journey and my motivation for starting this YouTube channel. So for me, my story with yoga really began in the summer of 2014. I was just completing my teacher training program. I was newly married. I became a new parent. I had a 6-month-old at the time. And my partner at the time received a job opportunity that required us to move from one coast to another. So at that time, I was living in Southern California in my hometown, and now we were moving to Pensacola, Florida. So it was a bit of a culture shock for me. It was a bit of an adjustment given that my entire family, my friend group, my yoga community, all resided back home in California. So for me, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. I remember that first week moving here thinking to myself, okay, I need to get out into the community. I need to start teaching ASAP because I just finished this teacher training program. And I did. Within 3 days of living here, I went and found a community class to teach, which I did teach twice a week. So I taught restorative, I taught yin style yoga, and mainly vinyasa flow during that time. And that community just kept me sane, kept me tethered to myself. Those were some of my very first friends, and a lot of those friends became like family to me. I branched out. I started teaching at different studios in the community, started teaching locally, started offering up private lessons even. And then in 2015, I wanted to take my yoga practice to the next level, so I started my own yoga business called The Way Om. And the name originally came to me during meditation. I was just thinking to myself, just the implications of feeling like you have a home, you have a community, you have just a rooted sense of self. And for me, I felt that often when I was chanting Om at the beginning of my practice. And I love a good pun. I love, a good play on words. So I thought, oh, the way Om is kind of like finding your way or finding your way home rather. So all that to say, that's how the name The Way Om was birthed, and that's when I started pursuing my yoga business. So again, I continued to teach locally. I was offering up more private lessons. I was going to yoga festivals, and then I started selling yoga merchandise online as well. And that was really the bulk of my business. But, as all things in life and different cycles of life, I wasn't able to dedicate as much time to it as I would have liked, just because major life events started to happen. And I was thinking to myself, okay, how can I still support my family and myself, and how can I still remain true to this path that I feel called to, specifically in the healing arts and in spirituality, but health and wellness mainly. And a major source of motivation for me throughout my life has been my mother, and she has been a NICU nurse, or a nurse rather, all my life, but most of my childhood and my adult life she has been a NICU nurse. And she's just someone who has always been a major supporter of everything I did. She's been a beacon in my life. She's been somebody who I really aspired to be like. She's just shown so much resilience and strength. All that to say, I was thinking, well, my mom's a nurse, and I think I want to do that too. I think I could give it a try. I think I'm going to become a nurse as well. And so I got into nursing school in the fall of 2019, and it was in the winter of 2020 is when we had the global pandemic happen. And so I was just graduating nursing school. I was just finishing up my preceptorship. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like what have I gotten myself into? Like, I did really well in school, actually. I graduated at the top of my class, but I wasn't fully prepared for being a new nurse in this different environment, but being a brand new nurse with the backdrop of this pandemic. So, I saw a lot of traumatic things happen. I experienced a lot of death actually in that first year of nursing. I worked on an adult oncology floor for my first year of nursing and my first year of residency. So again, I had a lot of low moments, but I also had a lot of uplifting moments. I had a lot of rewarding moments with my patients. And all that to say is that yoga has been this constant companion for me, something that I've always fallen back on, the spiritual practices rather. If I could just escape for maybe 10 minutes or just, take my break at work and go, sit in the break room and breathe and meditate and then come back to the floor, that helped tremendously. If I had, 3 back-to-back shifts and, I was just completely exhausted, I could do a restorative class, or I could go do a vinyasa flow class just to recalibrate and get myself back on a daytime schedule. I still work night shift to this day, actually. So that's something that's kind of tricky to do, is flipping your schedule. So fast forward a year after, my residency, a year after doing oncology, I finally landed my dream job of becoming a NICU nurse. So I always knew I wanted to work in a neonatal ICU. So I was learning how to do that. I felt like I was a brand new nurse all over again, to be honest. Like everything I learned in adults, it's like I threw that all out to learn how to work in an intensive care unit and work in a new field of like pediatrics. So I started that. Major life blessing to be able to have walked into that in that year. But then in my personal life, I was going through a lot of turmoil. At that time, I was filing for divorce. I was becoming a single parent, experiencing just a lot of just contrast in this area of my life. And again, just utilizing my yoga practices, utilizing just everything that I learned along this journey to just help me remain tethered to myself, to help me remain sane and grounded during this tumultuous time. And all that to say, and I'm sharing this story to hopefully uplift and to motivate you that I don't know what cycle of life you're in right now. I don't know if you're going through nursing school. I don't know if you're going through a major life event like I went through, but you too can practice yoga, and I intentionally made these classes shorter, more targeted, more focused on specific themes, because I know that like myself and like you, as a single parent and as a full-time working parent at that, we don't have a whole lot of time for ourselves to cultivate a practice, and I certainly don't practice for hours or an hour at a time. Sometimes I have 10 minutes, sometimes I have 30, and that's enough for me. And so I made the classes purposefully shorter and more condensed, but still true to the spiritual practices of yoga, still true to the philosophy of yoga, so that you too can practice yoga. You too can say, I am practicing yoga, and you can do it, like at your own leisure, at your own time, and at your own pace. And so, again, just this is all new for me too. This era of my life I'm walking into, I've never felt more confident. I've never felt more in my own power, in my own strength, in my divine feminine. I'm not typically a person who's very comfortable being in front of a camera. I don't readily share with people. I'm kind of a more closed off person, so this is kind of new for me too. And so my hope is that, as I'm putting out this content, we're kind of like learning alongside each other. Maybe yoga's new for you. Being in front of camera is very new for me. Openly sharing my story is very new for me. And so all that to say is that I am so happy you're here. Thank you for lending me your ear. Thank you for listening to my story. I am so excited to share all this content, all these ideas I have to share with you just through all of my years of teaching, and from what I've also learned in healthcare as well. So, sequencing, safety in sequencing, alignment, anatomy, physiology, these are all things that I'm kind of like nerdy about. So I'm really happy to be not only offering up my yoga knowledge and my training and that lineage, but also what I've learned and I've gained as a nurse and working in healthcare as well. So I hope to kind of bridge the two of those to kind of merge those two interests that I have and offer you just full depth and breadth of classes and content on here. So again, thank you for being here with me. I am so looking forward to practicing with you on the mat, and until next time, namaste.